Good.
Yeah,
And
yeah, we're
anytime you want to
live.
hit that switch, man,
Yeah, we're live,
pull
and
it this switch.
we've got we got quite a show lined up. We got some questions.
We need to get a opening video of some mad scientist dude pulling stuff and electricity going everywhere. Zzz. Welcome.
I can do a lot more too now with this
We're
new
official.
fancy smancy computer.
Now
Welcome
that
everybody.
you've come into the 21st century with your computing needs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny too because I think I actually did not upgrade my previous system as much as I could have. So it actually pretty still badass. I didn't know that until I realized what was wrong with it. But then I broke it completely. So now I gotta do repairs to that. That'll be
Well,
fun. Um,
I'll just be happy to get new headphones. Those should be coming tomorrow. So
those new headphones are on the way.
they'll look like the old headphones, but they won't be broken. So it's all
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Well,
I can go back to my green hat.
I see. If you were like me, you take the broken ones and switch it for the new ones. I'm just kidding.
I know you told me that,
Yeah,
Gig.
yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness, I'm
Don't tell me after waiting for a month for Amazon to get off of their keister, even though they are, we are in the time of crisis, and actually send me a freaking pair of headphones that I ordered back in April 8th. That I'm not tempted to do that.
Yeah. Everybody, we're gonna roll the intro and be right back with you after this. This is Indie Vote Live, Tuesday night at 9. We got a nice guest panel lined up for you, as well as always our questions, and we're gonna talk the industry, as well as it's probably happened, guys. It's probably happened.
You became sober.
No, 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 no. Um, comics may finally have its own French actor, and by that I mean Juicy Smouye. We may talk about that as well. We'll see you guys after the break, or after the break, after the intro. Here we go.
Hang on.
Greetings, everybody out there. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Varian Grant. I am the co-publisher of Last Call Comics. Been so for the last 8 years. Started making comics way back in 2008. First book I ever made was a black and white interior action comedy called Psycho Sirens. I'm also the founder of Indie Vote Media LLC, which is what you're watching right here. Check that out at indievote.com. And then I'm a father, a husband, a geek, a reluctant taxpayer, artist, sensitivity reader, shamefully not in that order. And you are watching Indie Vote Live. I'm joined by always with the Indie Princess Lola.
She's waving hello.
Yeah, and that dead air you hear on Indie Radio, Lola always waves at the camera. It's her wave.
Hi guys.
Yeah,
There
every
we
time
go.
there's a dead spot in the camera, it's Lola.
Yeah.
Dead spot in the audio,
Yeah,
it's got to be Lola.
Yeah,
It's gotta be me.
yeah.
It's got to be.
And of course, we got Randy Zimmer tonight, as well as the creative comics devil and advocate. And we're going to be talking to these guys. But first, we'll let Randy introduce himself, and then we'll move on to Rob. Go ahead, Randy.
Hey, everybody, I'm Randy Zimmerman. I am the owner of the Zim Geek channel on YouTube. That's ZIMMGEEK. I have also a long history of indie and alternative comics work, publishing, creation, and freelancing. Done everything in this market that you can ever imagine, and I probably did it before you were born. Right now, I'm a award-winning commercial and graphic artist whose main call is doing sequential art for advertising. So, plus I'm here on the good old Indie Vault.
And of course,
And joining us is Rob.
yeah, Mr. Rob Anderson.
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? I am a dad, a comic book creator, an advocate for comics because I love comics, and I'm tired of all the different silly rules that people have put in place in creating comics and the lines they've drawn. So instead, I support comic books and I allow you, the fans, to decide what's important. No one else but you have that power. So I'm happy with to bring you comicbookadvocates.com, and that'll be your place. And I'm a proud member of the Advocating Network with Varian Grant, Randy Zimmerman, and of course the Indie Princess, with all the great Indie Vault programming that they bring you week in and week out.
Speaking of week out, we're all taking the year off of conventions. Yay! At least
Who
until
likes
the fall.
making money?
At least until the fall. Yeah.
Who likes making money?
Our fingers are crossed that we will be back on the convention circuit come November.
I just got a new toy to play with. I'm sorry, I just got a new toy to play with, and it is fantastic. I suggest you all pre-order it from IndieVault.com. All pre-order it. All of you need to get this. If you don't have it on your desk, you're not an indie holder. Pick yourself up one.
Oh, that's nice.
Pick yourself
That's
up.
awesome. He needs pins in his hat, though. That's a
I
Funko
don't like
Pop of
indie-
Mr.
I don't like
Varian.
Funko Pops, but I like that one.
Yeah. Meredith made it for me, which is awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you, Meredith.
Sweet
Yeah,
job,
that's
Meredith.
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I want that made now, sitting on my desk, so I can. Although Chris will get it and start poking little holes.
With those Funko eyes, though, you don't quite get the squint when you smile. He needs a few buttons in his hat.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me being overly picky. It's a great job. Looks fantastic.
That was fantastic, Meredith. Thank you for making it. We gotta get Meredith on the show too. I told her today. Yeah, she's the comic noob, which is
Comic what?
The comic noob. She's new to comics. She's new to the industry.
New to comic. I thought you said she was the comic nude.
No, comic noob. Yeah,
Dave the Supreme's in the house. Hello,
Dave. Dave, hello, Dave. Hello, sir. Dave, I did a fantastic piece of artwork for me too, very recently here. So I'm gonna get into one that's sure to get the blood boiling in the community. Are you guys ready?
That's what we're here for, to educate people and get their blood boiling.
Yeah. This comes from W.S. Paul.
Especially those off-the-cuff remarks that we get all the time. The stuff that happens and goes on.
Can you read that, Randy? I'm sorry.
Wow, it's a long one.
Yeah.
W.S. Paul. With all the talent in comics now, quote, out of work, unquote, it's hard to believe that they are actually independent contractors. Why is it hard to believe they are actually independent contractors? I can't for the life of me figure out how DC and Marvel gets away with it. Why hasn't some congressman, some government official looked into this? How is it that there's been no senatorial investigation over it? These guys and gals aren't, quote, independent contractors, unquote, by any stretch of the imagination. You sign a deal. You can't draw or write for anyone else. As an independent contractor, one should be able to go anywhere they want and create or work. Yet these people are signed exclusively. Marvel and DC have done this, so there's no need for them to pay taxes, no Social Security, no type of benefits. Creators, you work for a publisher, no matter how small. Unionize now! I think that I put too much emphasis on that. There was only one explanation point at the back of unionize now. W.S. Paul, who there's no period after S, so it's W. Paul. No, that's you, isn't it? I can tell by your expression. You missed the period.
I might have missed the period. Yeah.
Probably. Remember, our program, today's program is rated TV MA DLSV, where the S stands for perhaps sexual content.
Well, so many artists are getting screwed. Yeah.
What does this mean? We need a union. Holy crap, we need a union. Is that what they're saying?
I believe so.
How come this has always been the way things have always been? These characters, almost used a different C word. And it wasn't that word. The word is cog here.
Okay.
These people who sign exclusively with Marvel and DC, believe it or not, most of the time, and I'm not sure how the modern Marvel and DC contract runs, but the way it ran up until a couple of years ago, that I know for sure from the professionals that I knew, when they signed exclusively with Marvel and DC, that included, the reason they signed exclusively meant that they got medical benefits. Health insurance has always been important, especially if these guys are the breadwinner for the family. Not everybody is fortunate enough to have a hardworking wife who's got a lot of the medical benefits and keeps you secure and able to work at your drawing board. Though a lot of us are like that. We depend on our spouse for our health care, or the government, what little health care they offer. Pardon. But yeah, the Marvel and DC have always worked as independent contractors. In fact, they were very proud to switch over to that as soon as the laws changed, so that everybody could sign their rights away for anything they possibly created back in the 70s by signing the check in order to feed their families, which I have always thought was a real sleazy deal. Up until recently, say once the big Marvel movies come out, even up to Guardians 1, royalties were really bad in the marketplace, and were not at all at what you would even consider a decent level. A lot of folks will tell you now that a lot of those royalty schedules are still not at a decent level, but they're at an okay enough level compared to the level that they used to have for the royalties in the past. But these people working in comics have always been treated like this.
Well, I want to talk about where he mentions that you work for a publisher, no matter how small. So let's just for a second. I want to dive into this and say, okay, so we're saying a union. We need a union in this business. So for one, I've worked at General Motors, so I've been up in the UAW. One says once you're in the UAW, you're never really out. It's like the mafia.
Oh no. Once you pay the initial union dues, when you stop paying those union dues, you're out.
Yeah.
You're done. Out the door.
What is so? Okay, let's just imagine there's a couple different union bodies out there in comics.
Mm-hmm.
And we decide we're going to have a writers guild and an artists guild. And now a lot of us consider ourselves multi-talented. I'm a writer and an artist. Do I have to join both of those guilds and pay union dues? And on top of that, what's the union dues going to get me? Is it going to get me, besides someone wagging their finger in the face of a publisher? Look, again, I worked at General Motors. I paid union dues, but I noticed that even though I was making great money at GM, I was making for a 23-year-old kid with no rent to pay, I was making $26 an hour. But for some reason, my union rep, who was making more, he's making what my mother was making. My mother was at $33 an hour. But he just drove a bit better car than everybody else. And I couldn't figure that out. Like, wow, I got a nice car, but he's got a really nice car. He's fully loaded.
And that union rep would assure you and tell you that if you worked really hard and maybe some overtime and you followed the corporate line and you really broke a lot of sweat, and next year he might be able to afford a bigger car.
Again, it was rough, but so we do that. I mean, first of all, woe to the person who has to have Rob Anderson in their union, like as a union member, because first of all, Rob's gonna be gunning for their job the entire time.
Rob's smiling right now.
Yeah, he's gonna gun for that job. He's not gonna I don't like the leadership. I want to get voted up to leader. I want to be the head of the Writers Guild, and he's going to do it. And but Pops Van Zandt says no unions. There is no guarantee they have your best interest at heart. And I mean, I guess that's a point, because what could a union argue in comics? Could it argue fair pay for everybody else? Jim Lee makes $400 a page. I want, back then he makes more than that now. I want $400 a page. What does a union represent? What does a union argue for? What would they argue for you, Rob, to have you involved?
They wouldn't argue for me at all, because I wouldn't want a union. A union's a ridiculous idea for something like this. It will complicate things, put up more gates, and make things even worse than they already are. The good thing about the SAG is it's not actually a union. A lot of people mistake that. It's made completely differently. They offer health insurance through it. It's a membership. And they all make a decision to go on strike together at times. But that is not based on everyone. You could be a SAG member and not go on actual strike and take other people's jobs, because they allow that if you haven't hit a certain level. So there's a difference. This guy wants a union because he thinks it'll empower him. You can smell the I think I'll be more powerful if there's someone telling people to treat me right. I'm not saying that we don't deserve it. Every indie creator, every person in America deserves health insurance, let alone every creator out there. So it's not that they can advocate for anything for us, because we have to advocate for ourselves. As far as being an independent contractor, what exactly do you think Marvel and DC should do? Hire every person so they can only work on their projects? A lot of these people like being independent contractors because they can go out and do other jobs. They enjoy it. They want to do it. And as far as the exclusive contracts, anyone who's in an exclusive contract is not considered an independent creator. You're wrong. They're considered an employee of that because they're, like you said, the minute you're getting benefits, you're getting taxed. You're paying all that stuff. You're paying the workman's comp. You're paying all that. So they're on a real salary. So this guy's just, as Randy would say, not educated about what's really going on in the industry. And he's just looking for his piece because he thinks this will make it easier, because unions make it easier for sloppy and lazy workers. That it absolutely does, because it keeps them employed.
Well, as a lifetime resident from Flint, where the UAW actually started, I can tell you that there are times when unions are necessary, especially in sweatshop type situations. And I'm not saying that mainstream comics is not a sweatshop type situation, because it really is. But they still have more of a choice than somebody who was working in 120 degree weather or heat inside of a factory putting cars together. What this industry needs is not a unionization, because again, you're going to add another layer of bureaucracy between the creator and the publisher. And quite frankly, anybody who's independent, especially us small guys, realize that we already have a level of bureaucracy now with Diamond that we desperately need to get past. What we do need is we need the art form in general to step up and be recognized and become larger as the creative force that it is, especially now in Hollywood, who's completely void of any original idea, that are desperately looking at comics for any kind of inspiration that they can buy or swipe or stagnate or whatever they want to do for the next Netflix series or the next streaming show. What we do need is to get comics visibility up to a point where there's so much money in comics that we can demand higher wages for higher quality work.
Right.
And right now we're at a point where Marvel and DC can literally flush you if you look at the editor wrong, and the editor decides you're not worth it, and the editor can grab their buddy that's at the other end of their email chain and say, hey, you want to draw such a book? I think you can draw. Come on over here.
And if they want a writer, they just go to the milkshake shop.
Yeah, regardless of talent level, which is shameful in this industry, very shameful, and needs to change. And we need to up sequential art and comics visibility to the point where we can sit there and ask for $5,000, $6,000, $1,000 a page and get it, because the quality of our work demands it, and our visibility. That's what we really need to do, WS. And the only way we're going to do that is by standing out there and screaming, showing our stuff off, and getting more people into comics and sequential art, and have it become the industry that it deserves to be, which is incredibly large and driving the imagination of most of the entertainment industries.
And I do want to add this. He's talking about some government official, some senator, some congressman coming in to save us. We can't get the news to cover the fact that the comic book industry is right now the Titanic with a volcano, with a tornado and a hurricane wrapped around it, being destroyed by everything that's going on with C-19, with everyone putting their pencils down. And all you have is these independent creators and literal professionals coming into independent comics, creating stuff going on, and no one cares. Do you think a senator is going to stop and care about us? They don't respect us. Like Randy said, we have to raise the value of this stock. And it starts with not saying ridiculous things like we're going to try to stop being independent contractors. And instead, like Randy was saying, we focus on the fundamentals. We fix what's broken. We have the industry rise up, become more powerful. And then that's the moment where we demand better, after we've built something that we can be proud of. You don't stand on a pile of rubble and go, I want to raise for how well I've been taking care of everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, because like, what do we do? Threaten the strike?
Oh well,
I mean, listen. You threaten the strike, they're just gonna go over and get people from overseas to fill in.
Yeah, Italy. There'll be a lot of comics with spaghetti shops and pizzas in
it. More Asian Philippine influence actually, but you get outside of the United States, which I encourage everyone to do at one point or another. Not right now, of course, but once all the borders open. once you get outside the United States and see how sequential art is treated, you'll see that those talent outside of the U.S. are treated as pure artists. And that's the
Yeah.
way we need to work ourselves up to that point where we're looked at as an artist instead of another cog in the wheel of a corporate machine chunking out a monthly floppy.
Right. Uh,
And I also want to point out before we jump off of this subject and we get very much farther, the last time there was a congressional hearing on comics, dude, you do not want to know how that, well, you do want to know how that worked out because you need to know your comics history. It did not end well, and it turned into an incredible cash grab and a stagnation for this art form, the likes of which, thank goodness, I sincerely hope we never see again.
I'm sorry, that was funny. I didn't think about that. The last time there was a congressional hearing on comics, it
did not end well. It was back during the 50s, during the McCarthy era. It did end really well for a lot of comic collectors of Golden Age books because those books added a couple of zeros at the end because of all of the comic burnings that were spawned from this hearing. And these idiots that were up there talking about the evil influence that comics was bending the youth on.
Chris, this is she's her tip jar is open. Every $5 sip shakes a shot of her assorted amounts of alcohol. And remember, those tips are going to fund her first book that she's working on right now. Cassidy Blonde says, make a digital anthology. Yeah, I mean, you can always. Digital anthologies are pretty cool. Rob has one. And Rob, the Advocator isn't just digital, is it? Is it just digital?
No, because I like getting paid. I mean, I know it's an ugly word, but I would like to eat sometime this month, and I'd like to pay my rent. Mm-hmm. Digital's great when you're first starting out, but if you're going to take this serious, digital doesn't work. It doesn't bring in the money you think it does, especially an anthology. A digital anthology is a throwaway because you're going to charge $20 for me to get something digitally? Get out of here. I'll just wait till that creator puts it out in one of their trades that I like. Why would I take a chance on it?
Or until somebody grabs that great scanner off of Facebook and decides, decides it's time to pirate. Arr.
Yeah. Listen. You guys are really coming out on my scanner. I don't like it. Cassidy once again says Frederick Wortham. Yeah,
Frederick Wortham. Yeah, that name is synonymous with the last set of hearings. But if you go back and look at the history, Wortham's testimony was very consequential to the end result. But the end result of that was an inside industry cash grab in order for certain companies to control that spiral rack. And that's what they were desperate out to do, and that's how they levied themselves in order to get there. So,
now the next
imposed a comic code authority that was absolutely ridiculous as far as conditions and standards go.
Christopher Stark says digital is a throwaway. Yeah, I mean,
obviously Christopher's done some digital work, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, I was in a digital book and I ended up having a bad time. Plus, digital people have the idea that anything given away has no value. I get that, but I have a free comic on Webtoon, Mr. Rusty's, which I talk about, and I talked about before. But it does have readership. I need to get back and then finish the next issue. As a matter of fact, I do want to bring up one other point, though. Our next two questions are about our own personal failings here as a show.
Are you setting us up for a fall? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Get ready here, son. Here comes some crap.
Which one do you?
Boys and girls. This could be a rough night.
What do you want? What do you guys want? The ones about?
I want our radio numbers first.
Our radio numbers are right now at 12,178. I put it at the bottom.
That's 12,000 people out there listening to us that aren't on YouTube, folks.
That's right.
So if you are on YouTube, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. If we get over 1,000 people, we might actually be able to, what's the proper word here? Trick YouTube into paying for our services. So
exactly.
And we would like to make some money off of this somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it selling digital comics.
No. I'm sorry.
And you can always tip Indie Princess there.
1 second.
1 second. Well, okay. Other than that, what else can we complain about? Can we bump that number from 12,000 to 17 today?
I'm gonna hope we can. I'm gonna hope that we can.
I hope we can.
So what do you guys want? Which question do you want?
Rest assured out there in Radio Land, we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Which question do you want? The one about
That was the worst one.
the worst one?
I was going to say, throw the softball first.
Okay, I'll throw the softball.
Yeah,
Because there's one that's gonna probably really piss off Rob too. But
Everything pisses them off.
okay, so it was funny because I got the question and Rob was like, "Hey, I'm coming on." I'm like, "Oh shit." So go ahead, Randy.
Is it going to turn us into moon calves?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
This isn't the one though. The next one is.
How much does it typically cost to advertise in a book? How much does it cost to advertise my comic on different platforms? At least most Comic Cons tell you how much you're coming out of pocket to advertise in a brochure or program. No publisher or platform, Indie Volt included, ever puts that info out there for consumption. And it pisses me off. Does the price matter on my sex? If you're having any or not? My project's budget? What the F, guys?
So wait, he could write you this, but he can't write you the email that just asks, "Hey guys, how much to advertise on your platform?" Really, it's a mental block of a person who doesn't understand what a question is. So, honey, what the fuck, guy? Let me talk to you. When you have a question, you ask a motherfucker, and then a motherfucker gives you an answer. You got that? You ask a question, you get an answer. The two go together. Okay, honey, thank you. We love you.
Well, I think I do admit I should have the rate card up. I totally stole our rate card from Randy.
No, but you know the goal.
You don't want that rate card. That rate card kept me barely struggling with Flint Comics for 10 years.
Well, I stole the design top to bottom, dude.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's okay.
But you know, Barry, you know the pricing model, right?
Yeah.
You let them write you an email, and they go, "Well, how much?" And you ask them, "Well, how much are you willing to pay?" That's the price. You just found your price.
I'm going to do a cartoon that says, "Shut up, get off your high horse, and get an education."
Yeah.
Maybe like that wise up one.
Yeah. Yeah, you could probably use that same illustration. Eh?
Oh, I love his name. I've never met a what the fuck guys, but you're awesome. What the fuck guys?
Yeah.
The thing is, I mean, like I do tell people all the time, look, you can advertise on any vote. Anthony Figueroa is advertising God's Hand on indievote.com in the background there, and he doesn't seem to want to let it go, and that's fine. And you can do that. People don't call, and they, and I put that information up there. It says on our site, you can get ads with it if you want. But I'll make sure that information is up there. WTF, guys, I'll make sure it's there. And yeah. Wish I could see you guys sharing knowledge Bob Ross style, says Christopher Stark.
Stark, next, we will do an entire show one day where we do that.
Yeah, we're going to get the afros and everything. It'll be awesome.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning into the Indie Vault.
You're a fucking idiot, and that's okay.
We're going to paint, yes. You need to get an education, my friend, because you're a flaming idiot.
All right.
No, not really. I wasn't talking about you, WTF, guys.
Please take your head out of your ass.
So here's the one where
wait a minute. Let's we got time, right? We can dissect this question some more.
Oh, when we put it back up, I took it down.
The big thing WTF to do, like Rob said, is to go ask. If you're your rates aren't listed, well, call and ask. Mm-hmm. That way you can even barter around. Well, so and so on such and such a page told me that they'd charge me $50. Mm-hmm. I'll give you $50 if you put me on your show or whatever, or not put me on your show, but that you'd have to discuss with Varian. I think. I think he charges more than $50 to come on, though. But that's just.
Plus, doesn't it matter what you have? Like if I'm trying to advertise Cat Dad and Supermom, that's going to be an easy thing to advertise. But if I'm asking you to go out on the limb and do Barbara Unleashed, you might want more because it might damage your reputation. And this guy's name, what the fuck, guys? That's going to give the wrong impression. They're going to wonder what kind of guy this is. And you're going to have to charge more. I mean, I guess your mom just knew where you were going to grow up to be. I guess she knew.
Well, I don't know what I mean. Like, I don't know if I
And
want to.
there are some companies out there that do advertise their publishing rates, but you
Yeah,
have to poke around their site in order to find it.
yeah, and I can put it on the site. I just didn't, and it's. I think it is there in some capacity. I know I have rate cards, and I can put that out there. But uh, I'll put it on the site for everyone if you want to see what the rates are. Pops Van Zandt says doesn't cost people a thing. The madness, yeah. See, and there's so many Facebook groups you can advertise on as well. Josh C. Lyman says so much love tonight. Yeah, yeah.
He came in while we were talking about Bob Ross, didn't he?
Are we finished with this question? Should we move on to the next one?
I think so. I don't know. Comic different platform leads to Comic Cons. Comic Cons will tell you. Comic Cons won't tell you now, will they?
They can't even tell you when they're going to be.
Not until November, and we have our fingers crossed. So there you go. Yeah, okay.
All right.
This is the triggering one now, right?
The next one is the one that's probably going
after you already raised Rob's blood pressure a little.
This one's going to really piss Rob off because he's going to think about certain aspects. Yeah, let's watch the Rob Redometer. Go ahead, Randy.
As soon as it comes up, hey, when you guys refuse to say names of wrongdoers, you're all enabling the scum and should be held just as accountable. This industry is far too small to you guys to keep bad actors' behaviors in your clandestine chats and whisper rooms. Evil wins when the good do nothing. Angela K. Hey, Angela, thanks a lot for writing in.
Hey, Angela, why don't good women stand up and actually tell the world what happened to them and stop hiding behind trying to get in the New York Times and becoming a hero that's on a national platform? Why do women always wait for 20 of the other ones to step up to suddenly be empowered? That'd be a question, because here's what happens when a guy stands up to someone. Let's just pick a name out of there.
Randomly spin the wheel.
Hold on.
I know you're going.
You know what? I won't even use a name. I'm not going to say any names today because I don't want to get anyone in trouble.
Burn the witch.
But if there happened to be a person who was going out and doing bad things with women, and those women didn't stand up when all the guys who were trying to help them were trying to help them because they wanted to get bigger media coverage, then who's the real bad guy, Angela? Who's the real bad guy? The guy who gets to hide in public because none of you will stand up to him? Because trust me, there are people trying to stand up. But if you don't help us stand up with you, we just look like idiots. We look like white knights. We look like people trying to pick on someone because you're not willing to tell your stories. Because it's always got to be planned out. You're like you're a fucking supervillain popping out of the shadows when it's your turn and it's your time. Stop it. If someone does something shitty to you, call them out right away so we can support you. By the time there's 20 of you, but none of you want to come out and tell the same story, or you want to hide behind details, it's very hard to help you. There are a lot of good men who want to help you, but you make it impossible because when we say something, we have to worry about getting sued for slander because it's not our story to tell. So if you're not standing with us, you're standing in our way, and then complaining about it just makes it worse.
Rob, you hit the nail on the head there. I mean, there's times where, with the lawsuit thing, you say certain things, you're like, okay, am I gonna find myself in an actionable position because I've said, Randy Zimmerman needs to get a new hat, and he gets mad and he's like, I'll fix you, and so these things. A lot of times like recently we've gone on and said, look, there's people out there who haven't fulfilled their crowdfunding programs.
Yeah.
That's and we don't want indies. You're right. We don't want to throw them under the bus, but we're like, hey, be aware that this thing is happening. If we don't put names out there, then I think maybe Angela might be using you guys and broader themes versus gender specific, and she may be, and I believe she is. Brian Lingus says, "How are you drawing? How are you doing the drawing data?" And then I think that we have to figure out when we're covering the news and breaking news, exactly. We have to be careful because it's like, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. When I was younger, there was a lady. She was getting assaulted and by her husband, and my uncle ran over to assist the woman who was getting beaten. And he got her boyfriend off of her and started smacking her boyfriend around. Well, then he feels something hitting him back of the head. What the hell is that? It keeps hitting him. It's a light, but it's hitting him. It's the woman. Get off of him. Get off of him. I'm now beating your abuser, and now you've turned on me. So those type of things happen. So a lot of times you have to be careful because you'll come out and say, hey, this person is not paying people for art and they're using it. And a lot of times too, that I know Rob actually, and we both do it, but Rob will go investigate the situation fully. And before he comes out with a story, because we have to investigate. We just can't go on a rumor. We investigate, we find out what happened, because there might not be a real story there. Or it could be a misunderstanding. The best times, and I know Rob's done it too, and I've done it, where an artist came out and said, this thing happened to me, this person's horrible. And then I go talk to that person and say, hey, did you do X, Y, and Z? And they say, no, I didn't. Here's the problem. And I could put both people together and they fix the situation, and it never has to hit the news. And that's better than making a story, in my opinion. But Angela, you're right. There are some times that we do talk about certain things, and we don't mention names because we are afraid of getting sued or causing aggravation to our our people on our panel. We have to keep that in mind. Doxing is a thing; it happens.
So it's canceling, doxing. Yeah.
And
people have had their lives threatened.
Yeah.
For giving opinions.
Right. We're all kind of working in the industry right now. It's the point where I could say, hey, you know what? Lola dresses funny, and she may have the ability to go get me kicked out of shows, all over, and I can't go do a show now. And she tells people, oh, well, Varian said this, and that about me, and I don't want him at the show, so now I can't get in. And people know, and like Rob, he's free to make his own opinions on the show. We're going to talk about somebody right after this that I don't know if I can trust, and I want to say I could, but there's a fishy situation going on, and we'll get into that right now.
Well, there's a lot of bad actors out there, just like there's a lot of clandestine chats and whisper rooms. You're going to get that, especially now in the age of social media, where you can't say 3 words on Twitter without some weirdo wanting to come up and cancel you or take you out of context. So there's a lot of times when we talk about people, we don't mention names on purpose because, one, we don't want to publicly shame them unless they truly deserve to be publicly shamed.
It happened.
And you have heard names mentioned here on the show or other indications of bad actors.
Did you just pass that book to him?
Who are
you guys do that? Rob, hey, Randy, could you pass that book to Rob?
Here, take this back, buddy. Okay.
I don't. Wait, watch it.
We might be speaking of the 50s. Back with the public congressional meetings, we might actually have a book burning.
What's funny is we probably could have did that. You could have had Randy could have picked it up, tossed it up to me. I'd have picked it up and threw it over the low.
Yeah, that's they're currently fighting everybody on if you watch these videos where everybody's fighting everybody, where they're smacking people and they're flying back. And some of that gets pretty amusing. But anyway.
I do want to stress the point, though. Again, it's always a woman to point at a man and say you're not doing enough. But
let's not be gender specific here because there's a lot of bad actors of both.
She said men.
Genders.
She said men. Put up that quote again.
I think she said you guys as a.
No. She said men.
Did she?
She shot.
Pull that back up.
Shots fired. I'm just.
Oh, yes. Evil wins when good men do nothing. Well, isn't that a quote though?
You guys to keep bad actors' behaviors, your clandestine chats and whispered rooms. Evil wins when good men. Evil wins when good men do nothing is an old political quote.
Yeah, isn't that that was a quote. But I mean,
it just says you guys here. When you guys refuse to say names of wrongdoers, you're all enabling the scum.
Do you know who's enabling the scum? The victim that doesn't stand up. I know we're not supposed to victim blame, and my heart goes out to all the victims, honestly. But if you allow someone to treat you poorly and they use their public access and their pull in an industry to blacklist you and you're not standing up and screaming at the top of your lungs until someone takes you serious, then everyone after you, it's your fault. You have to do it. It's not about saving you at that point, because here's the really hard news to hear, and it's true. It's too late to save you, but you can be a hero from someone else. So every time you get the number higher, how many other people didn't do it? Look at Bill Cosby. People tried to stop that guy, and they were unsuccessful. But it wasn't all of them. All of them stood up. It would have done something. We're always so afraid. Look, that there's a good possibility, Varian. Didn't get accepted to a show this year because I suddenly stood up and said the right thing. I took that hit, didn't cry, didn't whine about it, didn't go on a bender about how I'm banned from a con and my life is over and they're just holding me back. No, I signed up for a different one. It was just that simple.
Christopher Stark says he got beat up by a woman for defending her from her man.
Simple. Same thing happened to my uncle, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna walk on if I see it now. We're not just saying what happens to women. I mean, a lot of times you can get attacked by defending someone against someone who's doing them wrong, male or female, doesn't matter. I've seen it happen, and it's rough. So speaking of rough,
who's that in the green room?
Is there someone in the green room?
I think so. I think we have a special guest who wants to talk about the state of the world.
Okay, let's see. What's going on in the world?
Terrible things are going on in the world right now.
Terrible things. He foretold the murder hornets in his book. He said it was going to be murder hornets, and damn it, they're here.
The Vespers, yeah.
He told us about it, and they're here.
It's not quite the same thing.
Yeah,
his characters were large murder bees.
Now let me ask you a question. Did that take the sting out of COVID-19?
That's horrible.
No, but it kept the fear level up.
So
as everybody was getting mad and deciding to ignore the problem, go back to work. Murder bees, murder wasps. Be scared, be afraid, be very afraid.
Let's talk about something else that happened recently. And I talked to everybody here about it recently. Because I wanted to because I thought it was horrible. Shane Davis, who most of you know, has worked for Marvel, DC, and Image. Recently,
I didn't know of him till today.
Oh well, recently had.
But I have read his work. I read Superman Year One,
Earth One,
Earth One. Yes. Earth One.
He is an artist, a really good artist, who has worked for these companies, and he recently started a GoFundMe account. He was assaulted for his art. He tried to get his art back. It started from a selling of a car. He sold a vehicle, and his artwork was left in the vehicle. And he did contact the gentleman to try to get his artwork back.
Mysteriously left in his vehicle.
Yeah, and the gentleman told him, "Hey, this artwork was worth thousands. Give me my money back. Give me the money, and I'll give you the artwork back." They met in a parking lot. A fight broke out. Now, guys, I'm going to show you the GoFundMe account. Currently up to $1,525. I'll show you guys the account where Shane is asking for help. And to help Shane Davis get back his artworks. It's on GoFundMe right now. 26 people have donated. But when I was made aware of it, I started hearing things that were kind of weird. Well, one of the things that I heard, which I thought was shocking, was they said somebody told me at the very end, this seems awfully set up. And I wondered, well, what do you mean it's set up? They said, well, he's got pictures of himself getting assaulted, like live pictures. Who would take pictures of their friend being assaulted by a guy? Why not just help get this guy off of you? And so that
because we all know Fail Army is looking for content, always looking for content.
But he says in his GoFundMe opening, he says, "Hi, my name is Shane Davis. I'm an American comic book artist with a career of close to 20 years spanning DC Comics, Marvel Entertainment, Legendary Comics, and Image Comics. Throughout the years, I've donated to various charitable causes, both within and outside the comic industry, whether it is about outright monetary contributions or donating my time and artworks for charity auctions. Sadly, I'm not asking for help with legal fees because two of my portfolios containing at least 74 pieces of my original artwork were taken without my consent."
7 + 4 = 11.
He's trying to get his artwork back. The gentleman held him in a. He says, after I got back some of the artwork during our meeting, he grabbed me around the neck and placed me in a rear naked chokehold. His words, for nearly 2 minutes. As a result of this, I had to see a chiropractor for sustained back injuries. I was also referred to a specialist to get an MRI done for my back. All these medical bills have been out-of-pocket expenses for me and have been a huge financial burden. There he is in the rear naked chokehold being applied by the gentleman who looks like he works at FedEx. I can't be sure, but he's been, he's being choked out. Empty parking lot looks like behind him, but we're social distancing, so I understand.
That's a heck of a hug.
This episode of NXT.
It is quite. I mean, this is the gentleman. He didn't do a very good job of blurring his face. I can still see that. I mean,
He didn't do a good job at all at blurring his face.
yeah. The girl in the back, her face is a little bit better blurred, but this guy, I can see exactly what he looks like. My thing is,
maybe the beard is fake.
But again, someone told me, Varian, this seems awfully set up. This seems like BS because Shane has did this before during San Diego Comic-Con. He stopped an assault of a woman, and someone told me he's got a vigilante complex. And I looked here, and this Daniel Burke guy donates $50 and says, "Exim was a horrible comic." That's one of the books that Shane has done. Was a horrible comic. Dude got robbed, beat up, and is now broadcasting on the internet. Pretty embarrassing. Least I could do is give the guy $50. On top of it all, you're a beggar now too. Congrats. So it's not even being.
I need a bell.
It,
ding ding.
What do you guys think? Do you think Shane is setting this up? Do you think this happened? Do you think this is all orchestrated? We'll start with Rob first, and we'll go up to Randy.
Listen, I don't know this guy. I know that he's suddenly in the wrong place at the wrong time all the time, and that's a bit of a problem. This looks like bad footage from like AEW when they're first beginning and they haven't figured out their cameras yet. I want to know who the cameraman is. I want to know, like, that chokehold. I mean, listen, I've watched some Octagon. I've had some tussles. That's the worst bare naked choke I've ever seen. If you want to get a good one, watch what cops do when they pull someone over. There's some good bare naked chokes. But this guy, I mean, you're looking at this stuff. Who spends that much? Look, his arms down. He's not even fighting. It's like, he's passed out. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. He's fading. Call the ref in. And then what? At the end of this, they all get up, walk over to the car, and the cops come. And when the cops come, they're like, oh, we can't do anything here. He just assaulted you. But we're going to do nothing. We're going to let him go, and we're going to let him go with your stuff. And what person has an active investigation going on with something like this, and they don't sue the guy, first off? Second, don't have him arrested. And if he was arrested, why isn't this actually, stopped by the authorities? Mm-hmm. They would make him take this down. They would not let him show this. Plus, let's go back to it. He sold a car with stuff in it and then told some dude, you better give this back to me. Why? Why better I give this back to you? I bet you he went there. He was like, well, I wear a leather jacket. I'll kick your ass. And then he got his ass kicked by someone who works at FedEx. I mean, it happens. It just happens. This guy delivered his package, and his package was getting his ass kicked. The cops came, probably pointed and laughed at him, and that was it. That was the end of it. See, Jay says it. Yeah. He says, in Florida, battery by strangulation is a felony.
She's a cop.
What's that?
She's a cop. She should know.
I know. So come on.
But this happened in North Carolina. But I mean, and then Shane says Christopher Stark said the Shane Davis thing was legitimate. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I hope it is, and I want to give, but people are giving me pause to that. A pause to causing me to not know if I should. I want to, because I mean, it's horrible.
Christopher, how do you know it's legit? Is there a video we're missing? Because I'd love to watch the video live. I'd even bring out my JR voice.
Christopher says, you've been in the rear naked choke. I have. Puts you right out. I've been.
I have. It doesn't put you right out. Not if you know what you're doing. You can do a lot with someone who has you. Because the minute they put their hand around your neck, you can grab their balls. You can flip them backwards onto their back, breaking some ribs.
Are we grabbing balls now, Rob?
What? I'm sorry, what? I'm here to talk about a kid's book. What did you just say?
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know. I hope it's not. I hope, first of all, I hope that he's gonna recuperate.
Yeah,
He's fantastic. Shane is a fantastic artist. I looked at his work. I'm like, the dude is badass when it comes to drawing. I just wished it, But the kicker about this, and Jamie might shake her head at this, I'm not sure. The kicker is he had his artwork back. The cops were called. Someone called the police. The police showed up and said, because he does have a police report about the stolen art, and the police said because this report was made in another county, he had to give the artwork back to Mr. FedEx there.
See, I just think we showed up in the middle of an episode of Riverdale and we didn't see the beginning, so we don't know where it's going, and we're only in the middle and we're all going, "What just happened? Why is this going on?" But there's a whole backstory. That's what we're missing here. I mean, just that guy looks like he's having fun. He's just holding him up. Look at him. Look what I got. Look what I got at the store today. I got an artist. Should I take it home?
He's such a cutie. Can I keep him?
I do want
Follow me home.
But you guys see, there's this even in his people giving him money, there are people in there trolling him while giving him money, and there are people in there who are like, "I don't believe you. Here's $3." Hey, Simon, how's it going, sir? Simon's also in the middle of a Kickstarter campaign. So yeah, we wonder. But I do want to give a couple dollars to Shane, and if you feel it in your heart, you feel compelled, please reach out, help him. The money is going for his legal fees for trying to get.
Now, what's the name of the campaign?
It's help Shane Davis get back his artwork.
Okay, so let me ask
Is
you
that on GoFundMe?
Yep.
what legal fees?
Legal fees
I think
against
he's asking for legal fees, is he? He's going to sue this guy, I hope.
Yeah, well, yeah, he says right here, he says, civil litigation is an expensive endeavor in the USA. And as this individual selected to not return my artwork, despite us being in a criminal court a total of 4 times to date, I foresee a long, protracted legal battle.
Okay, so why are they in a criminal court 4 times a day?
4 times to date. I'm sorry, to date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now civilly in the Superior Court to regain ownership of my artwork, I am asking for help from the comic community and fans to help me fight to recover my artworks through the legal system. Every donation, no matter how small, will help. I appreciate your time in reading this, and thank you for your support and generosity. I want to help, guys. I feel compelled to help, but
Okay, well, let's rewind. What happened with his art, Varian? You're burying the lead here.
okay. The Jamie says assault by strangulation is a felony in North Carolina. Maximum punishment 39 months incarceration.
Unless you pull a guy's punk card, apparently.
They were selling the Jeep. They sold the vehicle. The books were supposed to be, the portfolio was supposed to be outside of the vehicle. They were supposed to be inside. Somehow they were inside. This gentleman then reached out to, I think, Splash Comic Pages. It's a website that sells original artwork. They let him know that, hey, this guy contacted us about your pages. So the artwork was in the car. It wasn't supposed to be.
So wait. So he sold a car with stuff in it, and it's that guy's fault because he bought a car with things that they left in it. What if this dude didn't know what it was and threw it out? Would that be his fault too? Could he sue him for damages then? What if this guy gave it to his kid as coloring pages? He was like, "Oh, here you go, kid, drawing it." Is that guy's fault too? Is that guy supposed to call around everyone's houses and go, "Hey, you didn't misplace anything today, right? I don't want to happen upon it and have to deal with it." How long between selling the car and the books? Because clearly he never went looking for it, did he?
That's a good point. I mean, he had to. I guess he was alerted.
It was so important he didn't know it was missing. Just like your kid, you don't notice he's missing for 3 years. Suddenly he's grown up, like on a Roseanne television show. How did you turn 20 suddenly?
I wish my kid would do that.
I'm just saying, there's a lot missing to this story. There's a lot missing, and I feel bad for the guy. You know, I do feel bad if he got punked out on video, and I do want to see the video. I totally want to see the video. I want to see the footage.
Yeah, Lola says she agrees with Jamie. Who doesn't clean the car? Well, apparently he had his father do it. He had his father clean the car out but his father missed the books or missed the portfolios or something.
So he made his elderly father take care of his business.
We don't know if his father's elder. I mean,
that guy's got gray hair in the picture.
So did the father sell the car?
Well, I don't
He's
know.
blonde. He's blonde in real life.
Wait a minute. Why am I being attacked? I'm not. I do feel like
Because if it was his car, he should have been there for the sale.
did you guys see what Tracker wrote?
No.
I'm just gonna leave that there. If you're interested in Indie Vote Radio, you can go to our YouTube, subscribe there, and you can see what Tracker wrote.
That's great.
Pop said
The opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of the owners of this
they're all
program
Trico.
or the
all Trico.
or the fellow podcasters.
I do feel though that if it is legitimate and this isn't like a ploy to get some money, because there's no Comic Cons. If this isn't a ploy to get some money, I want to give some money to help Shane out because he needs to get his artwork back, and I also would think that that guy needs to go to jail. I mean, you can't call somebody up and say, "Hey, I got your artwork back. You got to give me thousands if it's worth it to you," and then threaten to burn it. And I mean, I would
have went to jail if it really happened. If the cops were called.
Well, yeah, I wonder how come the cops didn't arrest him for assault. Like, what happened?
Exactly.
Like, you whipped a man's.
Press charges because they're gonna write a police report and ask you if you want to press charges. When me and my brother got into a fight, we both had to write a police report, and they asked both of us if we wanted to go to jail.
I tried to send Lola to jail 3 times and it did not work. I tried.
Watch it.
Yeah,
Watch it. That couch has got your name on it, buddy.
I just wish that there was a little more trust, but I still think I want to donate. I want to give something, but people are not taking it seriously. It's weird. So that happened in comics. Also, just so you guys know, another interesting thing that happened in comics today was that the Allegiance Arts books launched in Walmart. Rob's holding his hand up. You're muted, Rob. Make you mute yourself, too.
Sorry. Can we share my screen? I just want to show the picture that Homeboy has on his YouTube account.
Sure, I don't. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Boy.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Sean Davis, Talking Comics.
Yeah.
So this is what he's putting out there.
Yeah, he's a fighter.
So now he got his ass kicked. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, take me to the doctor. Oh, I don't know what happened. And here it is. I'm not making it up. Superman artist Sean Davis. Shane Davis saves woman getting attacked at San Diego. And you watch this video, it's totally pointing at the ground and you hear voices in the background. But it's posted. Like, who takes a video pointing it down to not capture the actual imagery of it? What I figured you guys want to see the sidewalk. No one ever takes a picture of the sidewalk when something's going on. They missed that view. I wanted to show you how the sidewalk reacted to this bad situation.
I think he did that so that he wouldn't film any of the people, because then they might have a right to the video. Hey, you filmed me.
A woman's getting attacked, and he's like, "Oh, this is a time for a phone. Let's take a leisurely walk over. Let's make it look like Blair Witch Project. Boom, 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 boom. And let me upload it to YouTube because, I'm just being a humanitarian. I won't call 911 and hang up my phone with the video and call the authorities. No, let's videotape. Let's videotape this. Oh, maybe he was videotaping his own ass kicking. He's like this. Just saying, hey, Sean, whatever your name is, you got some explainings to do.
You know what's funny? At the end of that video, he says, at the end of the video of him saving the woman, he says, so this is San Diego Comic-Con. This is what happens. And he says, and people are 100, not even 100 feet away, just upstairs, camping out for toys, and they hear this woman yelling help, and no one goes and checks. If I was San Diego Comic-Con, I would have jumped all down his ass. Like, hey, that happened in a parking structure, Shane. How dare you, sir?
And why did you videotape it and not call the authorities?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
What's our radio number?
This is a guy who goes in, he wants to be like Batman. I don't remember Batman getting choked out like that. I gotta be honest. I don't remember that. He looks like he's dead. I think there's a tongue falling out his mouth.
Lola says she can't believe there's no cops. There's cops in San Diego everywhere.
Yeah.
A radio number actually right now. Let me go take a look at it real quick. Our radio number actually is up to 16,400, 444 actually.
16,000 people that aren't on YouTube.
Yeah.
Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications. And if you can get to YouTube, please do that.
So I want to talk about these. These came out today. Got one behind me at YouTube.
The Allegiance Arts books.
At Walmart.
Wait a minute.
Show Rob where he hurt you. Show Rob where he hurt you. Show Rob. Oh!
That's horrible. We got books from Allegiance. Allegiance brought out books today. Red Rooster got mine before you people to back. It's really mean.
Just the first part of it, not the entire story.
Right, they're getting the whole thing. I like the background. The back too. The back of the books are nice. They got like this. They got like the logos of the book.
Obviously, WTF guys didn't get a hold of them to see what advertising rates were. That would have been the ideal place to put an advertisement.
You know what? Nicely done books. Lola thought they felt a little weird, but I think they're good. Yeah.
How do they feel weird?
Yeah. Well, answer his question.
I thought they first when she handed me, I thought I was like, what's that?
It's the paper quality.
It's not bad paper.
It's probably extra nice paper.
Yeah, it could be it. That could be it. What are you about to ask, Rob?
Oh, I was going to ask if I back the Red Rooster campaign, can I just go to Walmart and get my copy now?
No, because this is like one issue.
Not the same product. That's just a part of the Red Rooster book, which Mitch swears he's still working on.
So I got There's only 4 books. I got them all. I got Red Rooster.
Is there nudity?
I don't believe so.
There's no nudity.
Yeah, The Futurist.
You're thinking Red Rocket, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
The Futurist.
Futurist.
I like that cover.
Yeah, Bass Reeves, who I talked to David Williams today, as a matter of fact. I took a picture with the book and sent it to him. And also Nora Saga.
Look at that artwork.
Yeah.
Nora, like the Casey.
Casey, no,
not Casey. Pierce's Nora. Hers is Nora. This Nora. This is Nora Saga.
Oh,
but this is
whole different Nora.
Yeah, but this is from Allegiance Arts
and faster.
This is it's these books. All 4 of them came out at your local Walmart today. So go to Walmart.
You have to search around Walmart.
Yeah, there was some confusion because remember we've been following this for a while. I don't know if you guys remember.
It's a scavenger hunt, just like the 100-page Super Spectaculars.
Well, yeah, there was talk that these are going to all be in the toy sections. Remember?
Yeah.
And I don't see anybody. I seen one person post a picture of it actually being hung up on an end cap in the toy aisle. Everyone else I've seen has been saying theirs is in the electronics or in the
Why would they be in the electronics? That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, a lot of times Walmart puts their magazines really close to electronics.
The electronics? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So you may find them there.
By the home phones.
Yeah.
It wasn't hung up or nothing. It was just sitting on the floor.
Yeah. So
they have a lot better point of purchase display than DC does. Those are hidden around the Pokemon cards last time I looked.
I have not read them yet, but I am going to read them all probably by tomorrow. And I'm really excited for new books. I'm really excited for new books in Walmart.
New products, new IPs.
What happened? Is it New Comic Book Tuesday? What's going on here? I don't understand.
Suddenly.
Well, with Diamond not being around, they're just sending out books here, selling whenever you can. You Godspeed. Get on out there. Don't worry about no virus. You're fine.
Was it last Tuesday or Thursday? We talked about the comics at Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
From Peachtree Playhouse or Playhouse Peachtree. Peachtree Playthings.
Yeah. Which again,
$1 for comics.
You see Rob's face. What's wrong, Rob? What's wrong with Peachtree Playthings?
But if I have to explain that one, you're not listening to the name.
Our program is listed as TVMADLSV.
That sounds like something Michael Jackson was creating right before he died.
You never know. They're out of Marietta, Georgia.
Yeah, it comes to the Peachtree Plaything. I do think they need a new name, but they sell more than just comics. They do toys too.
Every kind of dollar tchotchke that you can imagine.
But I've heard great things. I've heard they're actually thinking about putting together a universe in their comics
That they really need to contact me about.
and pushing those to Dollar Tree, which is exciting. Dollar Comics? Are you crazy? 32-page Dollar Comics? Ridiculous. I couldn't.
Not just that, but 32 slick cover, full color comics for $1.
Yeah.
You think that those big mainstream dudes is ripping us off or something?
What are you gonna say, Rob?
No,
It's all volume. It's all volume.
So
How can we do it? Volume.
$1, just $1
Yeah,
behind the store.
well, Dollar Tree's also gotten the magazine game recently. They got cooking magazines now. They got 2 different cooking magazines and 2 different hair magazines. It's like going to a bookstore now. It's ridiculous. Watch, they're gonna start doing movies pretty soon.
Just want to be a full service general store. That's all. Lord knows who is it? Barnes and Nobles are pulling magazines out of their outlets. So
yeah.
the magazines they got to be somewhere.
Let's.
Pretty soon you'll be able to get that Playboy there at the Dollar Tree too.
Hey,
No, not really, not really.
No. Rob, let's talk about your offering. You, sir, have a book currently right now on Kickstarter.
I do, and in fact, we are actually crowdfunding this amazing project that actually teaches morals with farts. That's right.
Is that's not what you're sharing though, right?
You got it?
No, he's not sharing it yet. You want to go ahead and show us?
Throw it up there. Is that it?
No, I'll get it for you. Hold on, got to load the screen.
Yeah.
You know these things.
Forgive Robert when he's using a Mac.
You know, we don't all got that Microsoft money.
Well, he's ordered his wheels today. He's ordered his wheels for his Mac. So
Skateboard with my laptop, my computer while doing Mac stuff. Like I'm gonna be Mac cool now.
those $700 wheels, those are nice, man.
That's why I'm kickstarting. I gotta afford something.
I saw on Facebook today there was a guy that built a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang car in his front yard. Because
This,
you know he didn't have anything else to do.
there's a guy right around my neck of the woods with a Hazard County car, not the Hazard County cop car.
Not the Bo Duke's car, huh?
No.
That saves him from painting embarrassing things on the roof.
Yeah, it's no. You know what's funny is I remember my first time setting up in Motor City Comic Con. There was a gentleman. They had some guys with the Dukes of Hazzard, and they actually had the original Daisy Duke there. And he came over to me and he said, "Hey man, that doesn't offend you, does it?" And I'm like, "No, man." I appreciated him asking though. Trico said, "You just bagged Rob's comic today. It looks awesome." Let's take a look at that comic. Here it is right now. Cat Dad and Super Mom on Kickstarter. This man has already blown his goal away. Wait a minute, Rob. $959 of a $330 goal. Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, but have you passed $1,000 before?
Yeah.
Have you? Okay. All right. Okay. I didn't know if you passed
Barbara Unleashed passed 1,000.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. This is a book that had two other outings that it couldn't raise half of what it's raised right now. It didn't have half the backers. I just did not have belief in this. And you know what? It just came down to being honest about what I'm actually creating and just not caring anymore. I'm talking about a kid's book. And yes, right behind me, there's a free Hugs and Spank sign. It's just who I am. I'm complicated. Can't help it, guys. You know, I'll spank your mommy, but I'll also entertain your kid with a great book. It just happens. It just happens, guys. I'm a unicorn. I'm beautiful and special in my own way. Lady Gaga was right. I was just born this way.
I think the Cat Dad Supermom is enough. Everybody I talk to says you gotta check this book out.
It's a good book. I've read it. It's good.
It's
it's an award-winning book, right?
It is.
The imagery on the page here. This is the new. Is that the new Josh Lyman? Is that what
That's Josh Lyman actually giving us an alternate cover, and he did it just because he was, I guess, inspired by it, and he was like, "Here, just gave me some art." And I remember taking it to Chuck, and I was like, "Look at this! Wouldn't this make a great cover?" And he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You should ask him." And I was like, "You think?" He's like, "Yeah, ask him. What's he gonna say? No." So I went to Josh. I was like, "Josh, would you mind if we made this cover?" Josh was like, "No, but let me make it better. Let me tweak it a little bit because the original one he didn't feel." And that's the kind of professional Josh is.
Mm.
If we were going to use it, he wanted to go back. He wanted to look at it. He wanted to make it even better than it was. And we actually just did the update a little while ago. But here it is. Here's how. Let me make the screen smaller so you guys can actually see it. So here's what Josh came up with, and this is a totally new take on the characters and how they look. I love that. I love the fact that this book is inspiring people to be like, you know what? Let me show you how it would look if I drew it. I mean, that's a compliment in itself. I was blown away by that, and I told Josh, I was like, if you let us use the cover, I'm going to send you 10 copies. You can reprint it anytime. Just pay the price of the actual printing and sell it at your table, and you have a comic to sell from now on. You know, it's a win-win for both of us. He gets his art out there. It'll be with me at my tables. And if you look on my my thing back here, I already have it displayed behind me, even though it's not a cover officially yet. This project gets my local printer to have work. They're going to be printing the book now. I was able to raise money where I could afford. And remember, like Randy said, I'm printing these books and probably going to sit on them the rest of the year. They're going to just stay in my house. I don't have a lot of Comic-Cons more than likely coming to me this year. I might get to squeak out MegaCon in June before we get this second wave to hit us that they're talking about, which me and Randy both agreed would be a third or fourth wave. But we might be back inside. So I'm doing this all to keep my local printer going. And on top of it, I want to get the next book started. So I want to get no pencils down here. I want to get some funds, throw it to the artist Raheel, and I want to get us starting to make great comics again, as we've always been doing in the independent creator market. And sometimes it takes money to get these books out to you guys. I'm also trying to get 100 backers, so I'm asking everyone to do just a simple thing. Go watch the video. If you watch the video and you say Rob sucks, thank you for watching the video. If you watch it and you go, you know, I like this, but it's not for me, you know, share it. If you go, well, this is an interesting project, I want to support it, but I don't need a copy. For $1, you could get just an entertaining 2-page thing. For $2, because I know what's going on with this epidemic, this is unheard of. A 32-page comic for a PDF is just $2. And I'm doing that because I know people are struggling right now. There's a $3 reward where you can mix in the original Jack's book redone, and we're giving it to it at the $3 reward. At a $5 reward, we're going to show the script, and we're going to show some behind-the-scenes stuff. One of the stretch goals was that everyone who backed above $10 is going to wind up getting a copy of Jax the Innocent. And if you want a copy of that, the original release that's now out of print, you can get it for just adding $2 onto your reward level. The reason I'm so passionate and I'm so behind this story is because it's about my real 5-year-old Jax and about who he is imaginative. Like, I've watched him have his imagination come alive, and just watching that imagination come alive, I realized that he must think of things because he's an autistic little boy. He's struggling to get his words. And I wanted to make a story that kind of spoke to that imagination he had. So he actually looks at his parents as Cat Dad and Supermom in his dreams, and it helps him solve moral issues. In this current issue, we actually deal with bullying. And we deal with it in a fun way where we're not preaching to you. We're not telling you everything that you have to do. We're telling you a story that you can sit down with your family. Because there really isn't family entertainment anymore. Most families sit around now and just play Call of Duty and kill people. I thought maybe we'd give the world an alternative. Maybe give something that you could actually talk to your children about what's going on in the story and be entertained by it. And this is the awesome thing. Adults read it and like it. It entertains adults. Adults are like, that's really well written. So that's why I'm so passionate. That's why I ask so many people if they can just please check it out, see what's going on. If it's for you, please back it. If you believe in it, please share it. And, you know, it, like I said at the beginning of the program, it's for the fans, and it's because of the fans that I'm so passionate about, because I've had people crying after reading this book because it meant so much to them. We had a great session last night with Meredith, and she opened up to me about how she felt bullied and how she really connected with the character Elefart. And it blew me away that, you know, I keep hearing those stories. So I know this is something that when people read it, they're going to enjoy it. But they're also going to look at the world a little differently if I've done my job right. And they're going to look at bullying in a different way. And we can start a real conversation that maybe can stop people from being bullied as much. Yeah. You know, I don't think we'll ever get rid of bullying entirely. Bullying is always going to be part of it, part of the world. But we can start to make a change. And I'm not being political here, but look at our leaders, all of them, not just one, but all of them. They're what our children are looking up to. And right now, a lot of times they look like bullies. So maybe the Senate and the White House should start reading that book as well, because they can learn how not to bully each other and maybe learn to communicate better. Because if we don't learn how to communicate better with each other, then we didn't learn anything during this quarantine, because we missed the opportunity to be around each other. And I know everyone I hear says, I miss being around people. So this teaches us how important we are to each other and how much we can reach out and actually see the person for who they are, respect them, and actually be part of their lives. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
You know, I sent you a video today about hindsight 2020.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah. I teared up a bit watching it. I thought like, wow, you know, it really was poignant when it, you know.
The only thing that bothered me about that video is the fact that right now I'm not sure we'll get there.
Yeah, that is. Real quick, Rob, if and Tricolas and anything with elephants is a must have for me. He also said your new tagline should be yeah, I'll spank your mommy, but I won't be your daddy.
Amen to that, brother.
So yeah, and then now this book is looking to ship when, Rob?
Honestly, here's the niche. Of course, we don't know what's going on with this C-19 nonsense. So honestly, it's up in the air as far as anything that could happen. The risks of life right now. Story's complete. Story's 100% complete. If you put me back on the screen,
Story's done, art's done, lettering's done,
look.
coloring's done.
Variant, throw me on the screen real quick. Book is done. This is being made as an award edition after we won the award. So we kickstarted it, and we're giving you new covers, and we're giving you something interesting. We got a great cover coming from our boy Luke Stone, which, by the way, happy birthday, Luke Stone. Check that out.
Oh, it's Luke's birthday. That's awesome.
Yeah. We got the Josh Lyman cover right here. We got a Mike Seeley cover that I actually did print, but Jax grabbed on me and made a mess of it because he thought it was cool, and he tried to draw on it. I didn't realize he was drawing on it, so I had to print another one. But we're doing this, and again, like I said, my local printer told me they were having trouble, and I was like, well, why don't we just make something? And I never got this Kickstarter to work. So I started, and I was like, I'm going to make this happen this time. So what I did is I came to well, you should show the video, honestly.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Scroll up there.
Here,
Make sure you're sharing audio.
Yeah, if I can't win you over with this, I don't deserve you, honestly. So, and that's how I felt about it. This is as real as I can get as a human being. Anything else, it'd have to be somewhat fake. This is who I am, and I'll leave it at that. So here we go.
Blow it up full screen.
You know, that teaches morals with farts and shows the power of imagination that will entertain everyone in your family, including.
You can blow it up full screen. There you go. That's better.
Thank you for hitting play and allowing us to introduce you to Cat Dad and Supermom, the award-winning Farts with Morals storytelling awesome adventure people seem to love. And we could keep going that way. We could use words that could try to get you to be excited and convinced to buy it, but I'd rather just be honest with you. I'd rather be humble with you and tell you why I created the story. You see that little boy over my shoulder, right over there, and the other side, Supermom, and the big elephant that farts, all of that is based on my boy. He's a special needs 5-year-old who I love with all my heart. And he has made me a better man and has taught me what unconditional love is. So if this story is about him, the standard had to be higher. That's why I got one of the best artists in the world in Raheel Mohsin. I got Chuck Pino, who's done such great work as an editor and as a writer himself, to be part of this. Both of them became co-creators because of how much passion went into this. It was about passion for creating a top-notch story that was meant to entertain your entire family, and I think we did that. The rest, they're all keywords. They're all ways to convince you to do it. Truthfully, this is a story that matters to me, and it had to be one of the best stories that I wanted to share with you. It advocates for people who get bullied, and it advocates for the right things to do when you see someone get bullied. It advocates for being a better human being, but it also represents my son. And because of that standard, because of the fact that my son is in this book, it had to be one of the best things I could create, probably in my entire career. Anytime my son is attached to something, it is that high of a standard for me. So if you're looking for a reason to back this Kickstarter, it's because, well, I love my son. I wouldn't put anything out with his name on it that wasn't amazing. Thank you for watching, sharing, and backing Cat Dad and Supermom
and Ella Fart never forgets.
All right, so give me your honest opinions of that videos, guys.
I think it's pretty good. I think that one of the things about it to me is the first time you showed it to me, I said it was really good, and then it hit me like about 10 minutes later. I said, "Oh crap, you didn't put any art in there." And then when I seen the next time, you actually put pieces of art in there, in the book, but in the video, pages from the book. The thing is, I was so captivated by what you were saying that I kind of missed out on having to need the artwork. When you put the artwork in there, it brought it all together, and it's a heartfelt video. It's not like you're not out there like some people. We've seen you got a show called Kickstarter Pause. You know what I mean? You know, you make a case on why the book's important to you, and to me, that's it comes across as genuine. The book is important to you, and this is why. So it's you get the idea that, okay, well, there's a lot of quiet, a lot of heart in this book. Now, I have not read it because I want to be surprised when it comes, and I want to share it with my son, who's a handful himself. So and he is actually he knew about it today. He mentioned it. He asked us. He asked me 3 things today. What is Cat Dad and Supermom? What is Diamond? Because I think he listens to me doing the show. He's got his ears up like this, and he also asked me what is Comics Gate, and he asked me those 3 things today. All the same breath. So.
Down. I'll explain the horror and the terror and something that is very evil and very, very. It has destroyed the comic book industry. It is the worst thing to ever happen to comics. Let me talk to you about Diamond.
That's pretty much what I said.
Yeah,
So
that
very
is
true.
that
But
is.
Comics Gate are just people making comics that everyone tries to make up shit about because they don't like the fact they're making money.
Lots of
What
money.
I said too.
Yeah. You guys are all on the same. Yeah. Don't think I like that. You guys are on the same wave. Yeah, you don't like Diamond. I don't like Diamond either. Let's get rid of it.
But yeah, I told Chuck when we were going to this, and the first video you saw was literally 3 days after I decided I was going to launch it. There was no plan. I had no plan to do this, and then I looked at Chuck and I said, "Cat Dad deserves to have survived to get a successful Kickstarter." It's a great book. I've had kids crying. I've had adults crying. People telling me how great of a story it is, how much it inspired them. We haven't been able to successfully fund it. It's my fault because I let everyone else tell me. And you remember, I told you this already. People are like, well, you create the fetish book. You can't do a kid's story. You have to act like it's not your story. You have to pretend it's not you. And I was like, I'll just put it under Robert Gregory and I'll call it a day. They're like, no, you have to pretend that's not even who you are. And I was like, are you sure? And then I took that advice. Didn't work. I went back to Kickstarter and I tried again. And that time I hurt my voice. So I had no voice whatsoever. And no one actually came to my aid and tried to help with the Kickstarter, and it's just a reality. If you can't speak for your own project, it hurts it. And I guess people thought I was not paying attention and not trying to do it. Meanwhile, I had a bad throat injury. And, I felt demoralized by it. But we still had the book, and we went out when there were Comic Cons back in the day. See, there were these places, kids, where we used to go to sell comics. And when I went there, people would fall. I would see them read the entire book right in front of me. And they would not only buy one, but buy 2 copies. 2 copies, because they wanted to give one away. And we're talking adults reading it, let alone kids who cried. I knew I had to come back. So I looked at Chuck. I said, Chuck, I want to do something that no one ever has done. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I want to make a Kickstarter. I want to make it completely multimedia. I want to do all videos, everything explained in the video. And the second thing I want to do is I want to be honest. No bullshit, no lying, straight from the heart. I want to talk about why this matters to me. I'm gonna be honest. No slogans, no cute things. I want to just look into the camera and tell them why this is important to me.
Chuck in the house.
And I
not
felt
lying
that,
this time.
and like that was like the 25th take that night, because I kept getting mad at myself because I would flub a word and I wouldn't get it right. And that final 25th, I just looked at my son, not lying. I looked at my son and I said, I'm doing this for him. Turned back to the camera and I filmed that. And it was like 2 a.m. and I was just like, this is going to succeed. And I remember I've had people when I launched this who were like, you can't do that. You failed twice. You can't come back. I was like, where's that rule written? Where is this rule where I can't try again? Because I'm not quitting. They're like, oh, the market's not going to respect you. I was like, no offense, but fuck the market. I'm not here for a market. This isn't fucking Walmart. I'm not trying to be a market. I'm trying to be a creator. I'm doing this for the fans, and the fans will tell me if I'm right or wrong. And I'll put it out there, and if I'm wrong, so be it. It won't fund. And then it funded, and it funded in 24 hours. And then we were like, well, how much more can we go? And so we kept adding these things. We kept adding these covers, and we kept just saying, how much more, where can we go next? And that's where we're continuing now. And mind you, this is a quick starter. And for those who don't know what a quick starter is, it's a Kickstarter that you only go on for about 2 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks. Not a full month, not a 30-day rotation. So we've gotten a backer every day so far. I've been blown away by the support. I thank everyone. This doesn't happen without fans, and that's the whole point. This is all about you. This is you telling me that you love this book, and I'm here advocating for you now. I'm advocating for Jackson. I'm advocating for anyone who's been bullied. And I'm advocating for this thing. And Marvel and DC don't really understand it. It's called good storytelling. And that happens in independent comics. And this is something that is independent, and it is professional quality. I'll put this up against a Marvel DC book any day of the week, and I will tell you that the quality is the same. And that is because there's passion from everyone involved in this book.
How much? Sorry to interrupt you, Rob. How much longer is that Kickstarter?
4 days.
4 days?
Yeah, I was looking. I was bring it up in there, but yeah, I was gonna bring that up. You because I don't got that much time left, but I mean, you already crossed your finish line. So while we're doing that, Lola did receive a tip of $5 from
Juice box.
Somebody's been in my alcohol.
from KR.
Uh-oh.
Not I.
I had
Well,
way more than this.
Not I.
Someone drink some.
Not I.
That's not good.
Yeah. But you don't get to pick what flavor it is anyway. The guest has to do that. The
No,
guest
I
is.
just picked it up.
Oh,
I
okay.
had way more than this.
Well, it's time to re-up on the bottle then, isn't it?
Now I need to find out who's been sipping.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I'm innocent.
Let's hope it was one of you two.
Rob, you get to pick a flavor. Is absence on the list?
Hell no.
Oh, okay. Just hell no.
I want another absent show with Varian.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Jamie says Fireball. I don't know if she has Fireball. Well, hold them up to the screen. Well, let's see what you got.
2 thumbs down on that fireball.
My other two aren't by me.
So she's got sour apple. She's got cherry pucker.
Cherry pucker.
She's got watermelon. And
That's kind of lame. Like all the cool names, they're just watermelon.
yeah, and Island Punch. She's also got Jaeger.
I got Jaeger and Crown Royal.
Oh man, the
Chuck
choice.
says moonshine.
Yeah.
Nom. I haven't had any of that in a while.
Freaking Canadians.
Ah,
Let's see. For some reason, just because it was the lamest one, I feel bad for it. We'll go with watermelon. It didn't have a cool name. It deserves some press. It's just watermelon. So, I mean, it's probably just going to taste like water, but.
how's the radio number while she's prepping that shot?
The radio number is actually over at, let me see here, and I'm going to start screenshotting it too.
You need to. I keep telling you.
Yeah, it's the
The
radio
only
number.
way people are going to be blown away by the number is if they see it face to face.
Rob's almost there. We're at 19,745. 19,745 people.
Thank you out there in the world. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Listening on Indie Vote Radio, we appreciate it. You too can listen on Indie Vote Radio. Download the app if you're on Google, and I'm gonna put it on. It'll be debuting on Apple within the month.
Very cool. Congratulations.
And we had been talking about Cat Dad and Super Mom. That's over on Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm. Did I miss the shot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to take it again now.
Yeah, do it again.
Just to prove to everybody, the camera's on you. Sorry. You're gonna have to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
They need DVR for live videos.
Yeah.
$5. I'll do another one.
You're worse than one of those Twitch girls.
So, Varian, what's the record on Indie Vault viewership so far?
For our radio, it has been
Didn't we press 20 or 19 or 20 because they came back at you and told you had to pay for more
yeah, I had to pay for more bandwidth, which is why
bandwidth.
which is
It was
got it.
19
It's
something.
19 something, yeah, which I got up to. So we've probably broken that tonight, but we are halfway there. And again, I love having those big numbers. I want to get them to translate. And listen, guys, that's a comic book buying audience. I said it before. If you want to advertise on Indie Vote Radio, it is very simple. Get a hold of me. I'm not here to take everybody's money. Get a hold of me. We can work out something and get you an advertising on there. So that you can reach a global audience, not just people around your block, or I'm not going to throttle you like Facebook will, in terms of how many people your ads reach. Indie Vote Radio.
What countries are listening?
Right now, we got our good friends in. Let me see. That's a different service I have to use. Hold on. I'll bring it
It's
up.
IndieVolt, indievolt.com.
Yep.
And here you can send us correspondence at IndieVolt and at IndieVolt Live at indievolt.com.
Right now,
IndieVolt Live in the subject. Please keep your emails to 90 words or less.
our top countries are. Why is it? Is that part down? Is that part not working? Oh, okay, no problem. I know the problem is. Give me a second.
If you have a second, let's go back to this for a second and say, if you're out there, you're a comic book fan, you're listening to us on Indie Vote Radio, we want to see your stuff. We want to see what you're working on. So send that, scan it, and send it over to IndieVolt Live at indievolt.com. So let's see what you're working on. We'd love to promote your product. We'd love to show off your artwork. So
okay, so right now, top country right now is France, followed by India, Peru, and Mexico.
All over the world, folks.
Yeah, and
It's got
speaking
a
of
worldwide
Mexican
reach with
viewers,
this
the Cinco de Mayo is today.
We love them all. Yep.
That's why Lola's wearing the Cinco de Mayo. She's Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, I just thought she was showing off that she was the indie princess.
And that, and I told her, I said, "Is that Cinco de Mayo? The Italian flag? Because she's Italian." But she said, "No,
Same colors.
yeah, same colors." So, very, very nice. I do want to bring up one other thing for comics while I got you guys here. Got a nice little rumor report in my Facebook here, or my Twitter. I can't show you guys what it's from.
I need a knitting circle video or opener. Yeah.
Well, the rumor is that by summer, there will be a comics only crowdfunding platform. I want to get you guys' takes on that in the chat too, especially and on Indie Radio. You see the link. You can send in any comments you may have. What do you guys think about that? A comic book only crowdfunding program or platform?
It's a bad idea.
Where's the audience? What's the audience? What are they?
You need to put your microphone on and explain that one to us.
Yeah, Lola.
Indie princess.
Yeah, Indie princess. Turn your microphone on.
Tell us why. Tell us why.
Okay, so it might not be a bad idea, but the first question I had was, who's gonna run it?
Bingo.
Are we gonna have the SJWs? Are we gonna have Comicsgate? I mean,
Have a neutral
it's not a good
party.
idea. It's not a good idea. We're gonna have gatekeepers.
Is there going to be gatekeepers?
Exactly.
Or is the
So
market
it's
going to
not-
settle out? Decide for it.
Did anybody notice Lola got some alcohol in her? She opened up. I do.
No, it's just something I can talk on.
I just don't know if. I mean, okay, so you got a good point.
You need your mic on.
She's got a great point. Who's going to run it? And the other thing is, look,
Is this just a rumor that you've heard? Have you heard any more information on
I
it?
heard the rumor from two different people, one of which is a very reliable source.
Okay.
And by summer, within the month, we're going to find out the name. By summer, it will launch. If all goes to plan. I reached out to who they told me was one of the members of starting it, and haven't heard back from them yet, but I will. And if I do hear back from them, I will let everybody know, hey, this is happening.
Are they names of people that we're aware of, or are they just people out of the blue with some funding?
Yeah, no, the people that we're aware of, people with coding ability. And here's the thing, Indiegogo Kickstarter have taken years growing an audience, building
Building their platforms.
the platform, and building a culture of trust amongst users. Be it people who are contributing, people who are doing campaigns. That look when you just gave the camera was, but
Just, I know that Rob is really close to Kickstarter, and he's run a lot of Kickstarters. So we won't talk about how business is.
But-
Or,
I'll give up Kickstarter in a hot second if you bring me an
Gatekeeping.
audience on a different platform.
okay, so that's my thing. Okay,
I would be if I can weigh in,
Mhm.
the fact that there is going to be somebody crowdfunding, doing a crowdfunding platform that is offering only comics, is not surprising to me, except for the fact that it's taken this long to happen, because there's been so many comics that have been platformed and crowdfunded. There have been so many great products that have come, and the industry is shifting so fast in that direction. It also surprises me that there hasn't been a comic book only fulfillment service. There hasn't been a comic book only, like a publishing broker, that would pop up and go, you want your book done? How do you want your book done? What paper do you want it on? I know a broker here in such and such a state, somebody that's willing to look for publishers, printers here in the States in order to avoid any type of shipping entanglements, which I have a deep feeling, not just because of what's happening now, but what was happening before with tariffs and other Kraken and Print Ninja and all of the other entanglements. There's a need for a printer, and I don't say this very often, to add a middleman into the system, but there's a need for a printer broker. There's a business opportunity for a printer broker, knows their stuff, knows the printers, and is able to get the job done fast and efficiently. And you will find people are out there that would be happy to give 10% of that project to that printer broker to make sure all of that hassle is removed off of them. Same thing with a fulfillment service. So it's not unlikely, and I can see the time in the very near future, within a year or so, where you're going to have a comics-only crowdfunding platform with a group of people who are tied into a comics-only printer broker who's able to get your book printed, who has ties with a comics-only fulfillment service, who will be able to get your crowdfunded project packed and shipped out expeditiously. Because that's been the big problem using outside fulfillment services now, is that they can't get the job done right and they can't trust it to be done efficiently and quickly. Apparently. I'm sure there are fulfillment services out there that are capable, and other fulfillment services that are like, maybe today we can get 100 funny books out. You know. But again, this ties back to what we said, what I was talking about earlier. It's going to add respectability to this market and this art form if these things spring up. You want your project done, everybody recognizes that's the comic platform to use. Everybody recognizes this is a printer broker that'll get it done, get the job done, get it done right, and get it to the shipping, to the fulfillment service who will ship it out for you. Because a lot of these guys that are, and people in general, when I say guys, not meant to be gender specific, a lot of the talent out there that are working just want to create. They just want to make good comics. And if they can make good comics on their own, and spend a percentage with a printer broker who get the job printed and overseen correctly, so we don't have any more goof ups. And believe me, we're not done seeing the screw ups and goof ups in the printing part of this. But a printer broker would be able to foresee that and deal with the printer to get it smoothed out, get it printed, get it to the fulfillment service on time. Mm-hmm. And I can't help but see in our growing crowdfunding market the need for all of those services at once. Just boom, here's it, and even if it comes out of one group, here's your one-stop shopping. You do your crowdfunding, or there could even be somebody out there that's helping to coordinate crowdfunding. Also, where do you want to put it at? We're going to put it on this platform, or this is the way to promote your comic. I'm sure that's what the comics only platform is going to help them do.
A comics only platform I would be concerned one, like Lola said, who's running it, who's in charge.
I'd be upset if there was any gatekeeping going on where people were told they couldn't.
Yeah.
and weren't willing to let the market settle it out for themselves.
But there's also going to be people who are, again, uh, you want to know who's not just who's running, but are they going to bring an audience? Are they bringing a a group of people who are there to actually buy comics? If that's all you have on the network, then or the platform, then because some people find books and they're not looking for books on those platforms. They're looking for new kitchenware or hey, what are people creating? They go. I mean, I've gone on a Kickstarter rabbit hole before to see people are creating, what kind of tech they're creating, and then at the bottom I'll get something that says, "Hey, suggested for you or recommended for you." Take a look at it. And it's something that I'm interested in. Same way I just purchased a brand new scanner that I'm waiting on from Indiegogo. It was sitting there. I thought this looks pretty cool. And
But as our art form grows, especially as crowdfunding opportunities grow, I can't see them not doing, an outside crowdfunding campaign like that, but also using this comics only service to hit the market that knows that it exists there. That XYZ funding platform pushes just comics. You
mhm.
know, and you're right. There might be a concern there that it would restrict the market, that people looking for the next waffle iron accidentally stumbles across a comic that they want to promote. But if it keeps the right now, and this is my soapbox time. Right now, there's so much just stupid lane brain buffoonery going on about, oh, you're on platform A, you must be like this guy, or you're on platform B, you must be like these guys, or these guys are like this, or anybody on that platform has to follow these rules. Everybody on that platform has to follow those rules. If there's a neutral ground up there who makes sure that there is no politics, there is no BS involved in it. Here's your product, here's what you're promoting. We're doing comics, good, whether it's good or bad, let the market decide and get it done. That to me I can only see as a positive thing.
It could be big. It could be one of the things that tips the scales as
But
far as the
there
neutral.
needs to be that neutral. There needs to be a lot more choices up there than just A or B. Because just like with our freaking political parties that are A or B, there needs to be more independent
But
work
I'll
out
tell
there,
you this.
especially for independent books, man.
I'll tell you this. There will be a battle, and Rob will agree. I believe they could launch that company today. There will be a battle for the soul of that company.
Yeah, there will be because of the buffoonery that's out there.
Yeah, that's
That
gonna
really
be.
needs to stop
Yeah,
because people just need to read good comics.
it's gonna be. I don't want to be on there with him. Take him off your network. Look,
Yeah,
we got a guy giving all of his time to having a platform that that lists and chronicles
yeah. And look at the
how these books
buffoonery
are.
that happened around that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he's getting doxxed. He's getting attacked from both sides.
yeah.
It makes you want to
And we
say,
haven't had Pixel on in a while.
yeah. I mean, Rob gets it on his channel. Why
I'm
are you
sure he
covering
does.
that person?
Yeah.
Why do you have? Why did you put a press release up from that
Well,
person?
we've had it on here when we have CG people on.
Yeah,
Well, my answer is always the same: go fuck yourself. Don't tell me how to live.
Right. That's true, but we all need to grow up, and get past the BS and start concentrating on upping the art form over top of our freaking political or religious or whatever outside non-productive beliefs to the outside, market.
yeah.
Everybody's money is green in the States. Everybody's money is multicolored if they're everywhere else. You know,
And we'll take it.
what's the problem? The
I
money
don't have.
spends the same way.
I don't have any problem with anybody making any money. I think that
And
anybody making money in this industry is great.
we are way past the time back in the 30s, back in the 1930s. People that used to work on comic strips, your Chester Gould, your Milt Caniff, your even Outcult, were treated as superstars. These people were looked up to for their imagination and their creativity. It didn't matter that, for example, the guy who did Alley Oop, who's not Alley Oop, Little Abner, whose name escapes me, was a hardcore conservative, very right wing, radically right wing, especially towards the end of his life. You look at the content of Dick Tracy and his crime does not pay motif. It's either black or either white. but it was a great quality strip that was read by millions and millions of people. We all need to rise comics and sequential art up to that level where the good quality people, yeah, take care, Jay, where these people that do quality work are looked at as artists doing quality work. And it doesn't matter how they believe. It doesn't, of course, you might not agree with the tone of their book. You don't have to read it, but you do have to recognize it as being quality sequential art.
Pop says, I promote everyone in the madness. Nobody's gonna tell me who to promote. Just like when I was in prison, dudes wanted me to get white boy tatted on my stomach. I said if I get a tat, it will say independent. Never got no shit after that in prison either. Real talk. Yeah, I mean,
Okay, Pop.
yeah.
Anthony says a push comes to shove, CG takes it. Money talks.
Oh, we done with the platform. What'd you say?
I was going to say this because Randy started off saying that, I have this passion or love for Kickstarter, or I have any loyalty towards it. I don't. I just go where the money is.
Mhm.
I went to Indiegogo, and I guess I didn't kiss enough rings or enough frogs, and I didn't get no love. And
You probably just had a hard time being seen, but you're being seen now,
well, I hope so.
and it's all good.
I put Cat Dad on there to see what it could do on Indiegogo, and also to prove the point that I don't play favorites.
Mhm.
I support comic book creators end of day. Don't care about your politics. Don't give a shit. Don't even register with me. Just make a comic book. Let's see what the world thinks of it. Because, again, the fans determine it. They are the only gatekeepers that are allowed. They're going to determine who goes next. That's the problem with this platform. This platform is going to come out of nowhere. But what fan base have they built?
That's what I was asking. Yeah.
It's the fan base that they will build, and if they're careful, they'll build a nice neutral one.
I got a question though. Speaking of Indie Boat Radio, which actually is again up now. We are at 19,992.
Oh, we might break 20.
So, almost gonna break.
Pushing. Thank you, everybody out there.
Here's the question from this person on Indie Boat Radio. They said, with indie books making money on Kickstarter, on Indiegogo, but especially now the Walmart deal, would people who are against CG wake up and see where the money is at, and the accomplishments they're making? That was from. I'm sorry you didn't list your name. Sorry, but here's the thing. Would if I look at that and I see where the money is? I mean, people right now are falling back on. Well, Todd McFarlane, who's our hero, has made $2 million, and I remind him that $2 million Todd made is for an action figure, it's not for a comic. That comic is going in there.
Todd also had McFarlane Toys for decades, doing ultra quality work.
Right.
But so the millions that he's making off of that is off of his reputation as a phenomenal action figure maker.
Right. And it's for an action figure that does have a comic coming with it, but the comic, to my opinion, is almost like an afterthought. Oh, by the way, the comic is coming with it because it came with the original figure. Yeah. We're basing this on. So I'm going to include a comic. I think it's going to have a special new cover or something like that. And that's fine. What I'm talking about is people who are making independent, comics that you have not heard of, new IPs that you have not heard of, are taking their old IP, revamping it. So when you see, a team winning, I mean, here's the thing, guys. When basketball teams are winning, I love my Detroit Pistons, okay? But when the Miami Heat had LeBron and Wade and a couple others, I was looking over there saying, hey, that's a good team. They're doing something special over there. You have to sit back and admire the athleticism of a team that's putting the stringing together win after win after win. It's the same in business.
Putting on good athletic performances.
Right. If I see a company or a group of people who are putting together and stringing together win after win, accomplishment after accomplishment, I sit back and I say, I need to emulate that or be a part of it, or what do I need to do? And so, I mean, look, guys, these are outside of the diamond distribution model. It's in Walmart. And here's the thing. I hate to say this, but my comic shop closes. Walmart, it's closed right now. Walmart is not closed, but look, at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, my comic shop closes up. Even if I say, you know what, man, I've got some money burning a hole in my pocket. I need to go do something. I want to go spend some money. I want to go get some comics. The bookstore was closed. Walmart don't close. Walmart's 24 hours a day. I can walk in Walmart and pick up the new issue of
Not at this time. They're not 24 hours.
no, not this time, but in normal times, yeah. I can go in this store and pick up those books 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Those stores are there. Those books are there. That's gonna be big. I'm surprised that I was actually able to find it. I just knew in my heart that most comic shops would have ran out and cleared the shelves of these.
Well, no, most comic shops are just trying to survive right now, let alone worry about if there's anything popping up at Walmart. But the thing is with that is that the sequential art is getting out there and being seen in another avenue. Because those books, the Allegiance Arts books, are not being placed around, most of them, as far as I know, are not being placed around the pop-up displays that DC has next to the Pokemon cards that are selling the 100-page Super Spectaculars.
Yeah.
They're in opposite ends of the store. There's 2 different places now in Walmart where you can actually pick up a comic book.
Yeah.
And that is amazing if you sit and think about it.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be upset
so and so's got such and such allegiance, and they're,
whatever. Comics are in Walmart. Comics are in Dollar Tree. Holy crap, where are comics going to go next? And a lot of us independent folks out there, and I'm speaking as an entire industry here, especially now that a lot of us, whether we were working for a company or not, are independent. Now, if you want to work, maybe you should start looking at how many creative and ingenious ways you can get comics out to the masses and start playing around about doing that. There are lots of entrepreneurs out there that would be willing, and nobody's saying that the Allegiance books are going to make money. They're all returnable. Guess what? They might lose their shirt. I don't think they're gonna. I think they're great, solid products that they're going to make a nice chunk of change on. I hope they make a mark on the industry. The Dollar Tree books by Peachtree is a no-brainer. That's why they're selling them for $1. They're probably getting them printed overseas, which they probably shouldn't do. And they're kicking out product. If they're going to start doing original work, I hope a lot of that's coming from around the Georgia area, because there's a lot of talent down there, especially with the Savannah School of Graphic Design not too far away from there. They could make their own little industry if they wanted to. And anybody can. You just have to be entrepreneurial enough, take that chance, and get your comics out any way you possibly can. You go back and look at comics history, they used to have comics wrapped around bubble gum. At one point there were comic strips in the newspaper that were adventurous, and everybody had to follow every day, and they were hooked on these strips. These guys were making millions of dollars a year. Not just from the strips they were doing, but from all the merchandising, the Buck Rogers Zap gun, and the Little Orphan Annie decoder rings, and all of that. We can get that big again, and we should get that big again. And there's no better and more imaginative art form than sequential art to do that for everybody. We just need to get past the crap and past the idiocy, buffoonery, and make great comics. That's what
Anthony says, Rob, you sound like you're in CG.
Here's the thing. I don't take sides. So I agree with the things that make fucking sense. And there are a lot that they say that makes sense. There's less that makes sense with the CG, the social justice wars. They're not out for justice. They're out for, I guess, vengeance. Like, it's Killmonger. Killmonger had some great ideas, and then he tries to kill a motherfucker, and you're like, "Oh shit, I was with you, dude. You go to prison for that."
There's nothing wrong with a good propaganda comic, and you might not believe it in what it said, but that's all part of art. Art is there to make you think, to help you form opinions, and for you to decide what looks good, what doesn't look good, what's pornographic, and what's family oriented. That's all up for everyone to decide.
Josh Goldstein.
And to decide quality levels. And that's why it's so important that these market books get out there, get seen, so that the market can decide their quality level and the reward that work brings.
Josh Goldstein said, I agree. Also, this Red Bull wings. I do think that you guys all put up good points of a company like that, and if it comes to fruition and we have it happen, then we have a company that's out there doing Kickstarter or not Kickstarter, but crowdfunding comics. Um, and by the way, Kickstarter's in trouble because they might end up being like Xerox. People say, "Oh, I'm taking this to Kickstarter," and they mean Indiegogo. I'm kickstarting my comic. It's like, hey, careful, guys. It's
They're fighting real hard from being mistaken as a brand, just like a Xerox or a
yeah. But
Whiteout.
I'm open to using it. Would you be
Mhm.
open to using it, Rob? Yes or no?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Lola, would you be open to using it?
After I found out who's behind it.
Okay. Randy, would you be open to using it?
I would, but I would also like what your worries are, especially right now. I would probably put a campaign up in one or two other places,
Mm-hmm.
just in order to get the exposure out there.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, and that's important too, because people talk about that. They think, well, it's funny, and I mentioned this earlier to someone else. They think that because crowdfunding is here, you no longer have to advertise. Yes, you do. You have to advertise your crowdfunding program.
You have to market.
Yeah, you have to market. You have something up on crowdfunding right now, which is what Rob's been doing. He's been hitting.
That's what Rob's been here doing.
Yeah, pizza, and who has pizza? Does Randy have pizza?
Pizza. What? No, not
Oh,
today.
okay.
I want it. I want lots of
I
pizza.
don't think so.
Yeah.
Rob's hungry for pizza.
Yeah. Guys, I want to thank you for all being with me. We're about out of time here today. But before we do that, Rob, Cat Dad, and Supermom, you are currently at let me bring it up real quick. There it is. 4 days left to go. $964. You are going to probably cross $1,000 here.
I would say you'll cross the grand before tomorrow morning, just because of the Indie Volt bump.
That's right, the Indie Volt bump, but it's not what you think it is. There we go.
No, that would lead back to Geekgasm. That's tomorrow night.
Yeah,
That would be the different kind of bump.
Yeah,
That's the bumpity bump.
Cat Dad and Supermom, an elephant never forgets. We are excited to see what you do with this one. 4 days left to go on this campaign, ladies and gentlemen. Please check it out on Kickstarter.
Do it quick, because like you said, there's only 4 days left to go.
Yep, Cat Dad and Supermom, an elephant never forgets. Check that book out.
And it's a really good, solid kids project.
Mhm.
And it's meant it's the kind of book that you can have your kids at night, that you can read to your kids as they go to bed, and have them dreaming all about elepharts.
Yeah. Elephant.
And their parents as superheroes.
Mhm.
So there you go.
Rob, besides that book, where can they find you? Where can they write you and tell you how wrong you are, how wrong you've been here tonight?
On Indiegogo. You can find me at what is it? Rob Hate Mail at Indiegogo. I hate Rob at indievolt.com.
I hate Rob at indievolt.com.
And I will answer each one of your letters the same way. Go fuck yourself. But if you're looking for an honest to God, really good story, and you know how to read, unlike most of your watchers, your listeners on the radio are great. It's the ones that come in from Facebook that don't know how to type.
We just dropped from 14 to 8. By the way.
No, the radio is great because it comes out from this American audience that watches with you guys that talk about my demon's breath. What the hell? Who's watching your show, Variant?
No idea.
Only the finest people are watching the show.
But
you too can out there in Radioland can watch our show on YouTube on the Indie Volt channel.
Yeah,
it's VOLT.
You won't believe how ugly this voice really is.
Yeah.
You can see we have faces made for radio.
Yes, very much so.
Except the Indie Princess, of course.
But kidding around aside, you can find me at catdadandsupermom.com. That's the only place you can find me right now because I'm living there for the next 4 days. So if you want to know more about me, you're just going to have to go there. So there, I'll see you at catdadandsupermom.com.
Excellent.
And we need to bump this book up because the quality alone deserves a heck of a lot more than the Kickstarter money that it's generated at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me.
And where can we find you, Mr. Zimmerman?
I am here on the Indie Volt channel Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. and Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. Both of those are Eastern Standard Time. You can swing by the Zim Geek channel. That's ZIMMGEEK, all one word, over here on YouTube, and subscribe there. I promise there'll be new content up this week. It's a goal of mine. It's on my to-do list, and my wife keeps bugging me about it anyway, so it'll get up there. Other than that, I am on Facebook and I twit every once in a while, but not very often. Under Randy Zim, ZIMM.
That's cool. Thank you, sir. And then Lola there, also advertising
Lola there. Holy crap!
her Basseries book that she got.
There we go.
She will be on Geekgasm tomorrow at
9 p.m.
9 p.m. Geekgasm.
And then I'm doing a special Thursday night at 9 p.m.
Another special Geekgasm episode interview.
Yep.
With a very special guest.
Yep. And then
it's not any of us, so it's safe.
Yeah, it's safe. And then we'll see me and Randy be back. Of course, you guys can also reach out to me on Twitter at kid_V and on Facebook as well. So me and Randy will see you guys back here Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Next week, we got a pretty good show. You guys should check that out. We also got a bunch of people who we got some messages coming in that I'm seeing coming in for next week's show.
That's not a F you guys. I ain't showing up. I was booked on your show, but after listening to you this week, I'm out.
No. We got messages coming through for next week's show because we're gonna do something special too. And then of course I got The Art of War on Friday at 9. We love our 9 o'clocks around here. We taking that out.
We need that. We need that up here that we can post up here and promote.
Yeah.
Marion,
Yeah.
do we break 20K?
We did. That was my next thing. We broke 20,000. So I'm gonna remind everybody to make sure they go download Indie Vote Radio on Google Play. Right now, we're sitting at 20,404 people, which you really appreciate that. Thank you guys. I'm
appreciate you all.
That actually, so that we have that, and I'm gonna post it. Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Indie Vote Radio, which will be available on Streamer. It's on Streamer right now. If you have an iPhone, download the Streamer app, type in Indie Vote Radio, you'll be able to listen live. You can also listen on our website, indievote.com. The radio player is right there at the bottom of the page. If you have Google Play, you can download it just in the app. It's there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's music from town like parks, squares, and alleys, and Dimswan. Again, it's totally free. I think you're gonna love it. Give it a try. And while you're stuck in the house, also Indie Vote TV on Roku is also free. It's over top streaming network, so think Netflix, but just independent content. We're going to be putting a lot more stuff up there starting tomorrow. There's going to be some more content that goes up there, so you guys should definitely check that out as well. If you want us to pick on your question, we can do that for you too. It's real easy. All you have to do is mail in to IndieVote Live at indievote.com. Include IndieVote Live in the subject, and please keep those emails to 90 words or less. And we'll make sure that your video, or not your video, but your question gets put into one of our videos. And we'll make fun of it. No, we won't. But
and like we said earlier, if you're out there working on a comic project, send that into indievolt.com as well.
Yeah.
We'd love to showcase it here on the air. Maybe even have you on.
Yeah, you can send it into IndieVote, IndieVoteLive.com.
Just like Marv V that we've had on a few times from Portugal. He's an awesome guest.
Yeah, so you can do that. You can email us IndieVoteLive at indievote.com, and we'll get those in there, and we'll put up your comic. We'll talk about your comic here. Maybe even have you on.
Marion,
for us. Mm-hmm.
Real quick before you go, who am I?
At your Halloween costume,
joking around. That's who you are.
Give it back. We'll see you guys very shortly. This is the Indie Vote production. We are not owned by Disney yet, but we are for sale. Talk to you guys soon. Everyone stay happy, stay healthy, keep reading comics.
Take care out there. Be safe.